What's going on? We are back here. I'm so happy to be here with the RPO College Football Podcast. I'm here, Jerome Jones, your humble host. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ray Roberts. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Jerome. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It is officially draft season. We had the Super Bowl. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a great Super Bowl, right? Ray, I know your son is a Rams fan, so I know he is very excited and happy that they won the Super Bowl. What was your take on the Super Bowl, real quick? And did you like how it went?
I thought some parts of it were a little boring, drug out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but I was happy that Matthew Stafford got a Super Bowl ring. I was happy about that. I thought that the officiating was just horrible all through the game, but it's a good thing it didn't cost anybody. I know really at the end it was really touchy with Cincinnati probably getting a little frustrated with some ticky-tack, interference calls.
Yeah.
But that no face mask against T. Higgins was just ridiculous. So
that was so bad.
That was one where an official should have lost a job. But I'm not going to go there because I know they're union. I don't want to upset anybody. So what's that?
That was a difference maker, man. That was a difference maker.
It was a difference maker of me losing $100 and winning $100. So yeah, it was a difference.
Yeah, that could have really turned that game around for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it too. I love watching the Super Bowl, not only just for the game, but the halftime show, the commercials. I thought all that was cool and fun. I agree with you. The middle of the game got a little boring. Just a little bit. It stalled out a little bit. Both teams was not really moving the ball at one point. It was a lot of good defense, which is great. But I will say that I did enjoy it. I thought it was. I loved the how it ended. I love games that have drama at the end.
Yeah, so
you're anticipating.
It was a close game, and that's always a plus. So
Yeah. And before I move on to my next point, I just want to point this out that Logan Wilson was having a phenomenal game.
Yes, Cincinnati's front seven played very well in this game for sure. You can see really where they need to build from. They need offensive linemen. They need defensive backs.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Eli Apple right now. But
don't worry, Eli Apple don't want to talk about Eli Apple either. So
he's getting enough. He getting a lot of people talking about him right now. But we got to move on.
Yeah, man, the best cornerback in the league on the other side of the ball didn't play so great either, so it's okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just like the guy down there, make sure you go hit that like button. User said, "Trash Apple ASAP." But I will say this, man. Looking at this game, it definitely tells you one big thing is that it does pay to make sure you get your quarterback, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the 2020. There we go. Oh man, we're gonna really talk about our top five. Who we think are going to be great guys that should, or at least decent guys. And we're going to talk about that in a second as well. But we're back to the most important position in the NFL. We all know it. Who should be picked in the first? Who shouldn't be picked in the first? Whatever. User says Cincinnati's O-line let them down. Oh man, it definitely did. Oh man. Go ahead, Ray. You want to say something?
I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that was the reason why I picked That was the reason why I picked the Rams.
100%. That like you said, I wanted Matthew Stafford to get his ring. I've
always been a fan of Matthew Stafford. We talked about how, for some reason, you could be a great player at any other position, and wins and losses aren't as important as they are apparently to quarterbacks. So
I agree.
And just for the record, there's no Matthew Stafford in this year's draft. Okay?
No, and let's talk about it, Ray, because we're gonna see who are some of these guys down here. And you says I wanted Burrow to get his. I do too. I still think he's young, and I still hope that he will get his in the future. And he says, love that guy. I agree. I like Burrow too, and there's no Burrow in this class either, right?
No, there's not. There's not
at all.
I mean, I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. I mean, I think we've all been praising him for the last couple of years. I don't put as much as a guy who's been in the league for 2 years needing him to get that ring as much as a guy who's been in the league for 13 years. That's all.
Exactly. And that was my whole point of it. So it would have been nice to see the young team get it. I love Jamar Chase and everything, but
If you look at Cincinnati, like again, there are problems, areas, defensive backs, offensive linemen are glaring. So it's not going to be hard to fill them, or at least try to fill them needs. The one thing I will say though, it's never a definite. Just because Joe Burrow is a very young, talented quarterback does not mean he's going to go to multiple Super Bowls. It doesn't. Dan Marino went to 1 Super Bowl in his second year and never made it back again. Went to 4 other championship games and lost all 4 of them.
So again, putting in hard work, this kid got to be better every single year.
Here's the other thing that people don't see the people aren't talking about. Burrow did not play a great game.
No, he didn't.
So as much as I like the kid,
he was solid. I mean,
what's that? Well, again, you can't. It's hard to blame a quarterback for getting knocked on his rear end. So
No, you're right, and yeah. But let's talk about the next generation that's coming up, man. And we're gonna start with our top 5. Ray, I full-heartedly think our list is gonna be almost completely different. And I think I said this to you off screen is that this year I feel like every little thing that we hear about these quarterbacks are going to move these quarterbacks up and down our list. I mean, I think the top 6 guys are still going to be the top 6 guys, but I think it's going to keep moving depending on the combine, what we're hearing from practice, private practices. It already changed for me with the Senior Bowl. So I want to hear what you got. I want to start with your number 5. You're going to go from you're going to tell me your 5. I'm going to tell you my 5, okay. Your 4, okay. My 4, and keep going back and forth like that. So your number 4, you're number 4. Your number 5, who you got there, sir?
Sam Howell from North Carolina. Nice dual threat guy, good solid arm, nice throwing motion, good athlete. Mm-hmm. Will need a productive running game to let him reach what his skill level is. Mm-hmm. But I like Sam Howell. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a day 1 draft pick. There's no way he should be, but I think he's more of a 2nd or a 3rd round pick, but he has enough of an upside to get a shot. So
I hear you. Okay. I'm going to say my number 5 guy, and I told you our list is going to be different. It's already different already. I got Carson Strong at number 5. And I pushed him down just a little bit from the Senior Bowl. He kind of struggled a little bit from the Senior Bowl. I still think it's more coaching with him because I feel like he got a strong arm. He's fairly good at accuracy. He's not the greatest, but he's pretty good at accuracy. I think that he just he needs to put it all together. In a sense, he got the size, he got what you're looking for, he can run. I just think he's one of those guys that need to put it together, right?
He's also coming off of an injury. So I think that has something to do with it.
And speaking of that, we did interview him at the Senior Bowl. He did take off his brace, so he did not have his brace at all at the Senior Bowl. So that tells me some good things about him as well. And again, I want to. It might be just a confidence thing with the knee. That was it because I believe that was his first game since his injury, right?
It was, yeah.
So maybe it was just getting back into the motion with everything like that. But I would love to see him, blossom and go to a good organization that know how to, grow quarterbacks. I think he can actually be higher on this list if it wasn't for like I said, smaller school, injuries. I feel like his confidence wasn't up there. I feel like he's a good quarterback, right?
I also think the fact that Wentz has struggled the last couple of years, and the other quarterback from North Dakota State hasn't gotten on the field yet, that people are going to hold that against him a little bit too, I think. But as we'll see, I have Carson Strong on my top 5, and I just don't have him yet. So
definitely. All right, let's get to your number 4 now. Who you got at 4, sir?
I have Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh at number 4. Again, a nice solid athlete who had a really big season this past season. Mm-hmm. But I still see a guy who I don't believe in 100%.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you who I got him. Got him at. I do have him in my top five as well. If I feel like again, our list is gonna be completely different because I have somebody on my top. I don't have somebody on my top five, which I think you might have somebody on top five, but they're at six for me. So we'll see how this goes. But for me, I got Sam Howell's four. I think that
Okay.
he's kind of like Carson Strong in a sense where his confidence needed to get built up. When he lost all his pieces, I felt like his confidence wasn't there. When he had all his pieces there, he looked really good. He looked like he can be. I wish he can be better. Obviously, he got some things that he needs to still work on, fine tuning little things here and there. But I like his arm strength. I like his, his ability to run is fine. It's not the greatest.
Good
I think
though.
he's fairly accurate. And he needs to be at a good organization. He needs to be an organization where they already have pieces around him already. And I think he's in the best spot for that because I don't think he's going to be top 10, maybe not even top 15. He might not even be the first round type of guy.
I wouldn't draft him in the first round.
I know you said you wouldn't. I
I
think
mean,
there's going to be one. I think there's going to be four quarterbacks in the first round. I really do.
I'm not saying
And
you're
not
wrong.
because
I wouldn't draft
I
any of
need,
these guys the first round if we're up to me, but that's just
nah,
me.
not what I want. It's more need. Like
Yeah.
I need a quarterback. I need to get one in the first round. And
Need, I
like
think.
we already say, that fifth year option is going to help a lot of guys and teams like a Lions team that have a two first rounds and a late first round pick that they can pick that first year option on them. I think that's going to work for them. Okay, Ray, I'm sorry.
I think that you saw with his, Sam Howell is he's really good at the play fakes and that
Mhm.
stuff. And when he
Yeah,
lost his running backs this year and a couple of offensive linemen, and he struggled early on, but he found his
yeah.
way after a while. He played well in the second half of the season. He did.
And that's what I mean too. And that's another reason why I have him at four a little bit over Carson Strong because he did. I'm kind of not a recency bias kind of guy, but I seen recently that he improved recently, and it was a good stretch at the end of the season that he was playing very well. He went to the Senior Bowl. He played well there as well. He wasn't groundbreaking obviously, but he played well, and I think that he can be one of those guys that might sneak in the first. And then again, this might change. I think this is the one position that's going to change the most as we go. But go ahead, Ray. Who you
I
got?
mean,
And
I have seen some mock drafts where he's taken in the first round. I've
yeah,
seen
I
mock
have to.
drafts where every guy that we're going to name here is taken in the first round. I just don't
Mhm.
agree with any of it. That's all.
There, everywhere, literally everywhere. All right, you're number three. Who you got?
My number three is Carson Strong. Again, big pocket guy with a good strong arm. His 2021 season was better than his past season, but he
Mhm.
did have an injury this season. I'm still a fan of him and his arm. I think he has a nice live arm. He moves well in the pocket, but he's not very athletic. So
Mhm.
I like that about him. I think he's going to be. I think out of all the guys I have in my top five, I think he probably has the most arm talent of these guys.
Mhm.
But again, with the injury, the fact that he's played at a small school, the
Yeah.
fact that he didn't have as good a year this year. At one time, I would have earlier in the year, I would have had him at one or two. So
Yeah.
I had kind of moved him down to three. So
Mhm. Got you. Okay. Okay. All right. My number three guy is Matt Corral. So again, this is a guy that I needed to look a little bit more on too because he was not at the he was one of the few guys that I got on my list that were at the Senior Bowl. So I do want to see him there, but at the same time, I don't think his stock really plummeted because of the Senior Bowl because nobody really like jumped off the page that made them be like, well, he's not here, and this guy's super awesome, so we're gonna knock him that more down. I think he's a good, solid athlete. I think he needs to work on his accuracy a little bit more, but he's one of the guys that I think if he he's a he. I would pick. I would like him more than I would like Jalen Hurts. I'll be honest. Um, but that don't make me have. I had them very close. I had him very, very close at the same
okay.
time. So I think he's startable, but it's not really a starting quarterback. Right now at least. I have to kind of see what he does, but I think he in the right system in the right place, I think he can be really awesome. So it really depends on the team, but I have him at three because I like how a lot of stuff that he can do.
Okay. I mean, I like Matt Corral. I think he's before his injury, I thought he was the best quarterback in college football this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that, yeah, the injury too. All right, Ray, who you got at number 2?
I have Malik Willis at number 2. Again, a good athletic kid, probably the top dual threat college quarterback this year. Played at Liberty, so played a little bit of a smaller school.
Yeah.
But again, has good solid size. It's a little over 6'1", 215.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't draft him before the second round, but as we were talking, somebody probably is going to. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. No, I agree. And Ray, this is the first guy we got at the same spot. So I got Malik Willis at number 2 as well. I like how athletic he is. He's very fast. He's not going to be a Lamar Jackson fast, but he can do some stuff with his wills. The team's going to like him. This is the new age of quarterbacks now that people like. He showed a lot more accuracy than I thought he was going to at the Senior Bowl, which is great. He actually outplayed everybody at the Senior Bowl actually. Throughout the practices and the game. Obviously during the game it's kind of hard to evaluate quarterbacks and stuff like that because they do such a deep rotation. But I think that he played fairly well. He got out of pocket a few times and got a lot of good yardage. Like I said, he showed great accuracy. Considering what I thought prior to the Senior Bowl. So I like Malik Willis. I got him at number 2 as well. He's, again, like you said, I wouldn't pick him in the first round, but I definitely see him going in the first round. There's only one player on my list that I think can be a first round pick, and I wouldn't even draft him in the top 15, to be honest. But I know he's going to.
The thing I liked about Malik Willis was on the practice day when it rained, he was the one that didn't bother him that much.
Yep,
he still showed his arm, to have a good solid arm, a nice feel for the game, even in the rain. So I thought about putting Malik Willis at number 1, to be honest with you. I just didn't do it. That's all. You're back.
Oh, you didn't hear me? Okay.
No, I didn't hear you.
Oh, with your number one guy, who you got there?
I got Matt Carroll at number 1. I think before his injury, he was the best quarterback in college football. I think that, again, I wouldn't take Matt Carroll in the first round either. But, again, I know someone's going to. But good solid size, good arm, nice athlete. Not a great athlete, but a nice athlete. Throws a nice catchable ball, which is what I like about him the best. So,
definitely. Yeah, and I agree with that. Like I said, that's why I have him at my number 3. My number 1 guy didn't change though, and you probably don't like this, but I got Kenny Pickett. I know about the hand size. I get it. 1 year thing. I get that too. Joe Burrow was not the biggest guy or biggest hand guy either. He wasn't. He was a 1 year wonder as well. No, he didn't. No, Kenny Pickett didn't put up the same numbers as Joe Burrow did. But Joe Burrow also had 2 first-round wide receivers. I'm sorry. You gotta add that. You gotta add that into the.
He did, but Kenny Pickett has a better offensive line in Pittsburgh because their offensive line is better than LSU's was.
Okay.
And I keep hearing the comparison between Joe Burrow's senior year and Kenny Pickett's senior year, and I got it. I understand that part of it. But
I don't think it's the same. I don't think the same player though.
No, Joe Burrow played in the SEC too, so let's not get too carried away.
That is true.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and I don't mean to give a comparison as if they compare.
No, I'm not even
comparing like careers and hand size and all that. You know,
and I'm not saying you, Jerome. I've heard other people use that comparison about Joe Burrow didn't really ball out until his last year, and Kenny Pickett has done the same thing. And again, I agree with it. I wouldn't take any of these guys in the first round, but someone's probably going to take Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett may be the first cornerback taken. I don't agree with that at all, but it may happen.
All right, am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Cool. All right. So yeah, I agree, and I think that I think that he's gonna fall in love with Kenny Pickett. I think team's gonna fall in love with Kenny Pickett, and I still have him at number 1. Again, it's gonna be hard for me to change. I think the player's gonna change, but also it's gotta be like something significant to make it go like a drastic change, No, but I had Kenny Pickett going in. I don't think he did anything to really hurt his stock for me because I already heard about his smaller hands before even the Senior Bowl. I will say that he did fumble twice in at practice.
Yeah,
Fumble in the
which is
first practice and the second one.
which is usually caused by small hands.
Yeah.
I think if Matt Corral comes to the combine and he's healthy and he throws the ball with the accuracy that he showed in college, I think he's probably going to be the first quarterback taken. I think he probably should be. I'm not even saying that I agree with it. I just think he probably will be. If I just don't honestly, between 1 and 3, I'm having a hard time of that, like judging them guys, to be honest.
I agree. Yeah. So, all right, let's get to our sleeper. Who is a guy that you think is a sleeper in this draft that should be either named a little bit higher or people should be talking about a little bit more? So who's your sleeper quarterback in this?
Well, I mean, I have 2 sleepers, and one is basically a sleeper who I think will probably be at least developing to a solid backup quarterback, and that one is Desmond Ritter from Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. I think he has enough upside as far as size, and his arm strength is not great, but his accuracy is solid. Mm-hmm. I think he'll get a shot, and he may get a shot as a starter somewhere eventually, but I think he has enough size and enough upside. I wouldn't take him before the third or fourth round. Mm-hmm. But again, I would not be surprised to see him pushed up early in day 3, or maybe even early or third round in day 4, or early day 3 as a pick. My second guy is De'Ara King, and I don't have him as a quarterback, but I think he has played quarterback in college, and I think if you use him as a slash guy, a slot receiver, I think that is where he's going to make his bread and butter in the NFL. I do.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's really cool that you put him in there. Again, like you said, he might not play quarterback, so we'll see how that goes. But I think that's really cool, and I think it's funny because both of us didn't have Desmond Ritter in our first or our top 5. I actually thought you would have put him in there, but you didn't. But I think that he's one of those guys. He got an outside chance of being first rounder. I wouldn't do that again. It depends. It's a lot of preference with these quarterbacks. A lot of preference. There's no clear cut guy, so it's a lot of all right. Who I'd like for my franchise kind of guy. So he might slide into that conversation as well. Again, me personally, I don't like him as a first rounder. I heard some people might have him super late first round, either super late first round or early second.
If you take Desmond Ritter in the first round, you shouldn't be evaluating quarterbacks.
Yeah, he didn't impress me at the Senior Bowl at all.
No, I like him. I think he has enough upside to be a solid backup. Yeah, that's really all I see him as. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, everybody kind of like hung up on the fact that he had 2 touchdowns. I'm like,
he did, and he played pretty well, and he has upside. He has good size. He has a solid arm. I worry about him out of structure because even though he looks athletic, he doesn't move as well as you think he would.
Yeah,
as an athlete. Again, a little slight, 6'4", only 215, a little thin, little knobbly knee. Again, I think he's a developmental type kid who could maybe be a starter down the road. But right now I see him as a solid backup. And I know Cincinnati had a good year, but you saw when he played better defenses, he didn't do great. I mean, against Notre Dame, he didn't really play that well. Yeah. They won because they ran the ball really well, and their defense played really well that day. So
yeah, definitely. So all right, I'm gonna give you my sleeper, and my sleeper is actually in my top 5. He was number 5 guy. It's Carson Strong. I think that people are gonna, I put him as a sleeper simply because he's a small school guy, so a lot of people won't know who he is. But I feel like he's one of the guys that you would like to develop. He's the type of guy that
I agree with you.
At least a year, let him develop, and he can be an all-star in this league. I think if you really let him develop his craft and stuff.
No, I agree with you 100% there, Jerome. What I think though is none of these guys should be taken in the first round. Honestly, if and we know because teams will because they need quarterbacks. Yeah. But I think that Carson Strong in the end could be the best of this group, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
I mean, it depends again. Where does he land? honestly, perfect scenario for me would be the Falcons take him, put him on the bench for a year or two, let him play behind Matt Ryan, let him develop into that guy. I think that would be the best case scenario for him.
Definitely. We're gonna talk a little bit about that at the end, but yeah, I definitely think that'd be a cool little fit right there. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our small school quarterbacks now. Now, these are quarterbacks that go to smaller schools that people don't really know about, and this don't necessarily mean they're gonna be your first round pick, second round pick, whatever. It's just a small school guy that maybe you might want to pay attention to and might be better than advertised. Ray, who is your sleeper?
I have Khalib Elby from Western Michigan. He's 6'1", 210. He's a really smart kid though, with a really live arm. The problem with him is his mechanics and his footwork is really poor right now. But I think he has an upside potential as maybe a backup quarterback somewhere. I just think, like, really, we could have said Carson Strong. We could have some Malik Willis. Are both in small schools too.
Obvious.
But this was the one kid who I see him throw the ball sometimes, and I see the ball jump out of his hand, and I get excited about that. But then I see how his footwork, once he gets a little pressure on him, his footwork and his mechanics just fall apart, and that scares me about him. So,
Yeah. No, I agree. And I got a guy, and I got like a 1A, 1B, taking a page out of your book, Ray. One is Billy Zeppi from West Kentucky. A lot of people don't know about him. I got to see him at the Senior Bowl. He impressed me in the sense that he got better as the weeks gone. He was looking really out of place the first practice. Second practice, he got a little bit better. Third practice, even in the rain, he got a little bit better, I think. And then during the game, he was solid. He wasn't like, world beating or anything like that. He was a solid quarterback. So I think he, out of a small school, developmental guy, might be a good backup kind of guy for you guys. If anybody wants a backup. And another name, guy I've been keeping an eye on for a couple of years now. He's not a world beater, but Dustin Krohn from Kent State. He's a guy that, he got decent size, 6'3", 210 pounds. He can throw the ball. He can run a little bit. He's pretty accurate, I think. I don't think he got the greatest arm, but he, a guy that you need to back your starting quarterback up and can give you a couple of games in that sense. I think he'd be a solid quarterback.
No, I like both your guys, Jerome. I do. I mean, I think that when we say that this is not a strong quarterback class, it's just because no one has had production for longer than a year or so. So it's really hard to evaluate these guys. It really is. And you don't see anything special about them. Yeah. Some guys throw the ball good. Some guys are good athletes. But there's nothing that jumps off the page about any of these guys. So,
Yeah, definitely. So we'll definitely see how this goes, man. And we're going to be talking about drafting and quarterbacks all offseason because, that's the position everybody needs. And this is the 1 year that there's no clear-cut guy. So who's going to be the quarterbacks? How many is going to be in the first round? Who's going to be taking one? It's all going to be the question of this offseason. So to get into that question, we're going to talk about quarterback fits, and then we're going to talk about some teams that might need quarterbacks and might take one in the first round. But let's do some quarterback fits first. I like to do this with you, Ray, because I never tell Ray the teams that I'm going to say. So I'm giving this to him, and he's presenting them, and then we're going to go off from there. So let's start off with the first team. I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. Obviously, they got two quarterbacks in there that are sourceable but not great guys. Who you think will be a good fit for the Broncos?
I would go either Carson Strong or Malik Willis. I think you're playing in Denver. It's cold there. I would go with one of them guys that I know have plus arms. I mean, I could see them drafting a Matt Carroll if their coach falls in love with him. But I would go Malik Willis probably if I had to say one guy. And here's an interesting fact about the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos have won 2 Super Bowls, which we know with John Elway. I know 3. I'm sorry,
3
3 Super Bowls because they won one with Peyton Manning. They went to another Super Bowl back in the late 70s. They have never drafted a quarterback that went to the Super Bowl. Never.
Now you say it, I never even thought about that, right?
Craig Morton went to the Super Bowl in 77. He was traded from the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, John Elway went to 2 Super Bowls. Actually went to 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah, he
was drafted by the Colts and then traded. And, of course, Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning from the Colts as well. Oh, maybe they should get Carson Wentz then.
Maybe.
Get somebody from the Colts.
There you go.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. That's a good fact right there, Ray. Fact dropping in here. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our next team. This team just lost their all-star quarterback, Mr. MVP, Mr. the GOAT, Mr. Tom Brady. So the Buccaneers obviously going to need a quarterback. That don't mean they're going to go in first round, but who would be a good fit for you for the Buccaneers?
I would put Carson Strong in that team for sure. I think that he could be – there's only one Tom Brady now, so let's not go crazy. But I think he could play that game with head and arm, not a guy who not that he's not a great athlete, but he does move around in the pocket fairly well, a la Tom Brady. And has a strong enough arm to get the ball downfield.
Yeah, the only thing about that is like what I would say earlier with Carson Strong. I would love him to sit behind a veteran quarterback first, and then That'll freeze. I'm back.
Yes, you're back.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm sorry I'm having technical difficulty for some reason, but I would love to have him behind somebody because I think that grow and to learn from somebody. And I froze again. I'm back. And so for him to grow and behind somebody instead of just they got the kid from Florida that they drafted last year. I forgot his name. But anyway, I forgot his name. But I think that they need a more of a veteran presence. I think he needs to be behind a veteran presence. I like what you said about the Falcons earlier. I think that'd be better for him.
I just think that for one, they drafted the quarterback from Florida. I don't for some reason his name is Kyle Trask, exactly. And I do agree with you. I think that Carson Strong will be better off sitting next year and playing behind somebody else. But I'm just looking at a guy that kind of fits what their offense wants to do. And I think Carson Strong, you could argue maybe Kenny Pickett, maybe those two guys would fit what they want to do. But both of them guys should sit on the bench next year. So,
Definitely. All right, let's get to our next guy. This team just got a new quarterback during their trade, but it seems like it's not panning out, or at least have somebody in that same room. The Detroit Lions, they got Jared Goff. I'm pretty sure they're not too high on Jared Goff. It's more just to get the contract off of Stafford in that trade. So who would you say would be a good fit for the Lions?
I honestly think, Jerome, even though I could see them take Sam Howell. I think that if you take him with that 32nd pick, you kind of get him where he should be taken just before you get into the second round, because I think there's enough of an upside. I mean, there's several quarterbacks you could do, but I honestly, and I like Jared Goff. I don't think Jared Goff is a bad quarterback. But I think if you bring a guy like that in who's more athletic, who can do some things for you outside of structure, maybe you let him compete with Goff and see which one of them shakes out of it,
Yeah, I mean, I like that idea just to have him there. And he could be a guy that could sit behind Goff. So I think it'd be cool.
He could push. You could do some wildcat things with him because he's a good, solid athlete. Yeah. And they're a pretty good running team. DeAndre Swift, my guy. I think that he could do some things for you. And he has a good enough arm where he should do some nice things for you. And again, I think that's a perfect spot for him because that's a team that's developing, and that's what he needs to do. So definitely.
No, 100%. All right. From one team that just traded for a quarterback to another one, the Panthers. They just got the quarterback from the Jets, and I'm blanking on his name as well. But
Sam Darnold, that one I
Sam
got.
Darnold. There you go, Sam Darnold. Yes, they got Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold actually started off solid, and then he just died off. Then he got injured. A lot of people think
his Jets career.
I'm sorry.
Sounded like his Jets career.
So the Panthers should be looking for a quarterback. Cam Newton most likely won't be back. Ray, who you giving in the Panthers?
This is tough, man, because they have the 6th pick.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to take a quarterback with 6th pick in this draft? Well, if I do, I got to take Matt Corral as long as he's healthy.
Okay.
I have to.
Yeah. This would be the pick that I would take a chance on Kenny Pickett. I'm sorry. I'll just take it. Take the chance.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Hey, you
don't have a great offensive line in Carolina,
and that's the thing. I think Carolina shouldn't get one in the first round.
I think they should draft an offensive lineman in the first round for sure, but they're probably going to take a quarterback.
Yeah.
What you should really do is see if somebody else wants that pick, move down, and then maybe draft a quarterback, an offensive lineman, and then see what you can do with that. I mean,
yeah.
But it's Carolina, and they got their coach is probably hell-bent on trying to win again this year. And these teams need to understand, man, if you have a coach, and I like Carolina's coach, I still think he's going to run back to college eventually. I do. And this is the thing, like, he wants to win now because he has pressure on him to win now, and they're not ready.
Yeah. No, and I totally agree with that. Like, They need to rebuild first, and it's the same thing with the Eagles. I mean, we got somebody. I like it because it's the same thing with Darnold. I think Darnold's serviceable, and you can work with him, build some stuff around him, see what he does this year. And hey, if not, you got a top pick in this year. If so, you can move on. But now you got pieces around that new quarterback you could get from next year. So
correct, and you have a solid core of guys there to play, but and the other thing is the Eagles have a good offensive line.
Yeah.
Carolina does not.
And they don't. They don't. You are right. You are right.
So,
all right, let's get to 2 more teams real quick. We got the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, Drew Brees is not there no more. Jameis Winston coming off an injury. Obviously, the other quarterback, I can't know his name again. He haven't played up to his quarterback potential, but obviously he's an athlete. Who would you give the Saints?
You know what, Jerome? I'm going to go. I'm going to go Malik Willis with them too.
Right, me and you on the same page with Malik Willis. I literally just thinking Malik Willis will be a good fit there.
I don't know who their offensive coordinator is. I'm going to assume since they hired from within, they took the defensive coordinator and made him the head coach, that they're going to try to keep the offense similar to what it was last year. And I think Malik Willis or Matt Carroll kind of fit that offense the best.
Yeah. I agree. I like that. I really do. I think that would be cool to have that and pair him up with another, BYU quarterback. I can't remember his name right now, but pair him up with and start, put them together, start doing some cool trick plays. You got Al Kamara back there. That he's a.
You think?
No, seriously.
Think. Alvin Kamara could be in a lot of trouble, man. We'll see what happens, but he could be.
Ray. Wow, I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that it's a misunderstanding because Kamara is an extremely talented young player.
Correct.
But from what I've heard,
I'm so sorry. I totally forgot about that. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's for another story. But yeah, well, I mean. Hey, either way, Malik Willis will definitely help that running game. I know they got what's his name? I'm blanking on names today, so don't blame me. Anyway, all right. Let's get to our last segment right now. And wrong one. Who should draft a quarterback in the first round? Now, Ray, I know we said nobody, so let's take that out of round. Let's say who's the most likely? Let's do that. Who's the most likely to pick a first or quarterback in the first round?
Well,
So
I'm going to give you 5 teams that probably will, even though they probably shouldn't. I think Carolina, Denver, Washington, Pittsburgh, and Detroit.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna throw some other names at you then. So you had your own little list. I'm gonna throw some other names at you just to see, because there's, obviously there's some speculation. So you said Washington already.
Yep.
We got the Vikings. Now the Vikings might not re-sign Kirk Cousins. I'm hearing this. They might even. I think they need to cut him or trade him. I think they're trying to get rid of Kirk Cousins. They got new they got a new coach now. Do you think they should do something like that if they do move on from Kirk Cousins?
You could if you're gonna try to move on from Cousins. I probably would hold on to Cousins for one more year. Mm-hmm. I mean, you paid him all this money, man. Might as well just let it ride out now.
Okay.
Maybe you draft a quarterback this year that you think you could develop into a guy down the road, and let him sit behind Cousins for a year or two. I mean, you've already bitten off most of his salary. Why go crazy now?
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, we got another team. Some people are saying this team needs a quarterback still, and I disagree with this. Maybe you might agree. The Tennessee Titans. They was in the playoffs. They was, went well, but a lot of people were saying, "Hey, that was the running game. That was mainly the running game." Do you think that they should move on from your boy over there?
Think that you can't do it this year because if you do, you take a $40 million cap hit.
Yeah.
But I think again, if you could draft a Sam Howell and then let him sit behind him for a season, then that's an option. But you can't. If you cut Ryan Tannehill this year, it's going to cost you $40 million of dead cap space. Man. If you're a team that wants to win, you draft a quarterback and let him compete with Tannehill and let him push him. And if you don't win the job, you don't win the job. Mm-hmm. But if you go into the season and think, well, I'm not – because, man, let's face it, Ryan Tannehill played like crap this year. He only played the one game in the playoffs, but he didn't play well. I mean, obviously, them not having their running game at all, firing all the cylinders, didn't help him. But it's not – the point is you owe him a lot of money, man. I mean, I like Ryan Tannehill, but he is what he is. He's a system player. There's no question about that.
Yeah, and the thing I think the thing about it was that they gave him Julio Jones, and obviously they got Brown out there, AJ Brown, and a lot of people had high expectations for him, and he didn't succeed that. So people were thinking like, hey, maybe the Titans should be getting a quarterback this year.
No, I don't disagree. It's not that I disagree with the idea of getting a quarterback to come in and competing with him. I think it's a good idea. I just don't think you can cut him. Why is it going to help? How's it going to help you to get rid of a solid quarterback and take a $40 million cap hit? And that makes no sense to me.
Gotcha. All right, cool. All right, let's move on to the next team. This team just got a new quarterback as well. I'm sorry, quarterback. This team just got a new head coach as well. Offensive-minded guy. And a lot of people it's been going on for a lot of at least 3 or 4 off seasons now. Derek Carr, I'm about to say Oakland Raiders, but the Las Vegas Raiders, they might want a quarterback. You think they should get one?
No, I've heard that they're going to re-sign him to a new 5-year contract.
Interesting.
Derek Carr. I would not get rid of Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is better than Ryan Tannehill. Why would you get rid of that guy? He's played good football for you.
Yeah.
I mean, just because John Gruden likes guys with weak arms, you got rid of John Gruden. Don't worry about it. He's fine. Mm-hmm. I'll take Derek Carr right now. Right now.
I think he's a solid quarterback. I really do.
He's a good quarterback. He's not a star, but he's not the problem why you're not winning games. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right, next team is the Falcons. Obviously, Matt Ryan's getting up there in age. People and I'm hearing this because I'm in Georgia, obviously. But people don't like Matt Ryan down here. They think they should move on from him. I'm hearing a lot of people wanting Malik Willis for the Falcons. But do you think they should grab one in the first round?
Let me see. I'm not exactly sure where Atlanta picks.
They are right before the Eagles, so I'm gonna say like 13, 14, 12, something like that.
I think they should try to get a quarterback to add. I think, honestly, we talked about this briefly. I think if you got a Carson Strong and let him sit behind a Matt Ryan for a year or so, I think
I'm sorry. They're number 8. I am sorry. They're all the way at 8.
Again, if you're going to do that, I don't have a problem with that. Someone to come in and play behind Matt Ryan for a year or so, that's fine. Matt Ryan's not the reason why Atlanta's not winning games, though. So let's be real. I mean, people want to fall in love,
man. I'll take Matt Ryan in Philly. He's a Philly kid. I'll take him.
I honestly, if I were Matt Ryan, I'd be pounding on the table to get traded to Steelers right now. Trade me to Pittsburgh. God, it's not my hometown team, but it's it's close. I can go to Pittsburgh right now and win a championship. Maybe winning a championship is overstepping it, but compete for a championship without a doubt.
No, I agree that he has a better chance there.
Atlanta people are too fickle right now, man. They got a world champion. They got a World Series championship. They got a national championship. Now they want to get rid of the only guy that's ever taken them to the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm sorry. That they did go to 2 Super Bowls, so I'm wrong about that. But the other guy was a journeyman and took him to a quarterback to a Super Bowl.
Who?
Yeah, they lost David Craig, I think his name. No.
You talking about the Falcons?
Yeah, the Falcons went to the Super Bowl and lost to wow. I don't remember. Remember the Dirty Birds?
Yeah.
That team that went to the Super Bowl and lost to, I think, Denver.
I gotta look at that.
Remember they beat Minnesota. They beat the Rams Minnesota team. They beat the Rams Minnesota team. Remember?
I remember that. I gotta look it up. We'll talk about that after the podcast, right? But all right. I got 2 more teams. This team is in heavy rumors that they're about to cut their quarterback that they just required from my team, the Indianapolis Colts. Now I'm hearing that they're about to cut. They're gonna try to trade or cut Carson Wentz, which I think is a mistake. But that's not for me to talk about. Ray, do you think they should draft a quarterback in the first round?
I do not. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I think the Colts are a good team. If you're going to, and I like Wentz, but I'm not going to make excuses for him. He didn't play that well again, especially down the stretch this season.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going to take a shot at winning a Super Bowl, I need to go out and get Russell Wilson. I need to go out and get. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to get traded now. Maybe make a stab at getting Deshaun Watson if his legal issues are okay. Mm-hmm. But if I'm going to upgrade the quarterback spot, I'm going to upgrade the quarterback spot. I'm not going to downgrade it. And a rookie quarterback is still going to be a rookie quarterback. So
yeah, I agree. All right, last team, last but not least, this team has a first overall quarterback, but some people don't like the man, don't like him, don't like his style of play, and don't think he's good enough. Mr. Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. Do you think they should move on from him and grab a quarterback to compete with him?
Correct. Grab a quarterback and let him compete with him. Grab a Kenny Pickett or a Sam Howell. Or let him come in and compete with that guy and see if he can beat them guys out.
Interesting.
Well, I don't
think his 5th-year option, I believe they said.
Yeah, but I think if you cut him, I think it's only a $28 or $29 million salary cap hit, which is not extreme. It's not good, but it's not extreme. Baker Mayfield's not going to win games for you, but he shouldn't lose them for you neither with that running game. So if I can add a Sam Howell to the mix, take him off the field third and short, let that running game play, let him compete against. Because I think what they've done is they made it too easy for Baker. And like he knows he's the guy, and you have no one to compete with him. So bring in a guy that can compete with him. If I could get the quarterback from Minnesota, I would make that move.
Kirk Cousins.
If I could do that and bring him and put him on the same roster, because they're both guys that are good when there's pressure. Like when they have somebody to play against, Baker Mayfield plays good. When Cousins is competing, he plays well. It's like when you make it too easy for them, they're like, well, what are you going to do? You're going to bench me? Go ahead. You know, what are you going to do? Good luck with that. What are you going to do? Put somebody else out there who's not as good as I am? You know?
No, I hear you.
If you have somebody who can actually compete against him, then maybe you get the best out of both of them.
No, I agree. I think that would be a good idea. I'm not sure if I want to draft a guy though. Like you said, maybe a Kirk Cousins. I think that would be a cool pairing. You know, kind of like how the Raiders did with Derek Carr, bringing Marcus Mariota, somebody that had some success or has some talent, and put right behind him, and you see what happens.
The thing is, you can bring in somebody like that. You don't have to change your offense. You're still running the same offense. You still run the ball, play fake, which Kirk Cousins is really good at play fakes, and then pushing the ball downfield. And when he's competing against people, he plays well. Yeah. It's when you throw a bunch of money at him and he doesn't have to work for his money. He seems to be a little nonchalant about it.
No, he does. Yeah, no, I agree. But that's going to do it for us today, guys. Quarterback position.
Let's say one more thing, Jerome. Here is the ideal place for Kenny Pickett, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
Pittsburgh guy, strong running game. You don't have to worry about him fumbling the ball if he's handing it off.
No, he got a running game. He got the receivers. I think Fairmouth is going to be a really good tight end. I believe. I just wish I hope they get a better offensive line. But all the pieces are there. Good defense. And like you say, he's used to the area. He's used to the climate there. So it won't be something where he has to start super fresh because he plays there in college, so used to that stadium and things like that. So I think it would be the best spot for him. I really do think that'd be great. So I agree with that. But again, I think Kenny Pickett might be the first one off the board though. So I don't know if they're gonna be able to get him. So we'll see though. They are picking at 20. Exactly 20. So we'll see. There's going to be some.
Even though it's a little high there still, it's not like you're dropping in the top 10 or 15. So I can see that. You know what I mean?
So, all right, cool. Well, that's going to do it for us today, guys. Super, this is again, this is not going to be the first time we're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about this all off season because quarterback position is the most unknown position right now in football. For a draft at least. Plus, we still got the free agency that was about to happen about a month from now. Actually, exactly a month from now. And you never know. There's rumors about quarterbacks that's going to be traded. Some players might be released and things like that. So it's going to be a wild offseason. So we're definitely going to see how this plays out. But that's going to do it for us today, guys. Make sure you go check us out on all our social media, InsideTheHashes.com, our website. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Inside the Hashes, and check us out on our YouTube channel where we are live right now. So make sure if you go in there, you hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can know that we go live as well. But if you can't go live, we understand you're busy. Come check us out later. But hit that. Go in at the bottom, hit that notification, that comment section, so you can write anything you want. Ask us questions. Let us know, How do you like my list? You could tell me my list is trash. I'm okay with it. Let me know. Let's have that discussion. Let's have a civilized discussion though. But let's have a discussion. Let's talk, man. Let's talk. Inside the hashes on YouTube, and we will answer all your questions and things like that. But definitely hit that notification button so you can know when we are live, when you can go on there. Also, make sure you go check us out on our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. We found all the content. You can find all the player interviews that we're about to do that are going to the draft and things like that. Go check that out. Also, we have Senior Bowl content on there as well, and on our YouTube channel as well. So go check that out. InsideTheHashes.com has all that as well. So thank you guys so much. I hope y'all have a great night. Y'all have a great weekend. Next week we're gonna be talking running backs. I'm super excited about talking running back because so many running backs dropped out of the Senior Bowl that I was expecting to be there. They were some didn't even go. So I want to talk about the running back. I'm excited about this. So we're gonna talk about running backs next week. So I'm your humble host, Jerome Jones. That is Ray Roberts. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Check us out every Wednesday night, same time, same place. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a good weekend. Peace.